everyone! Welcome to the very first episode of this brand new series on psychological well-being. First of all, it's me, Ludy, and I'm really excited to have you here because I believe that this is one of the most important topics that we can talk about in today's world. Most of the time when we hear psychological well-being, the first thing that comes to our mind are physical health, eating right, exercising, and sleeping well. And yes, those are really important. But there's another equally important side of well-being which often gets overlooked, which is our psychological well-being. This refers to our mental and emotional health, which shapes how we feel, how we think, and ultimately how we live our daily lives. Now, what exactly is psychological well-being? It's easy to assume it simply means being happy or avoiding problems, but that's not quite true. Happiness is just one small part of the bigger picture. Life, as we all know, is full of ups and downs. We will face challenges, stress, and moments of pain. That's simply part of being human. So, psychological well-being is not about escaping difficulties, but about how we respond to them. It's about whether we can find balance even in the middle of stress, whether we can nurture meaningful relationships, whether we feel a sense of purpose guiding us, and whether we can still discover positivity and meaning even when life doesn't go exactly as planned. In other words, psychological well-being is the overall quality of our inner world, how we cope, how we see ourselves, how we connect with others, and how hopeful or satisfied we feel about our lives. Think of it this way, it is not about living a perfect life without problems, but about developing the emotional strength to grow from those problems instead of being broken by them. Let me give you a simple example. Picture two students during exam season. Both of them have the same deadlines, the same number of chapters to prepare, and the same amount of pressure. Yet one of them feels completely overwhelmed, exhausted, and unable to focus, while the other manages to stay calm, focused, and motivated. What makes the difference? Most of the time, it isn't the workload itself, it's their level of psychological well-being, resilience, confidence, support from family or friends, and the way they view themselves. All of these play a huge role. When our psychological well-being is strong, it shows up in many areas of our lives. We are able to make clearer decisions, we can stay focused on our goals, and we form healthier and deeper relationships with people around us. Strong well-being also allows us to bounce back from setbacks much faster. On the other hand, when our well-being is low, we might feel anxious, drained, unmotivated, or even disconnected from people, even if everything seems fine from the outside. That is why taking care of our inner world is very important. Just like we take care of our bodies, we need to take care of our mind. Let me emphasize, mental and emotional self-care is not selfish. It's not about ignoring responsibilities or avoiding others. In fact, it is the opposite. When we take care of our psychological well-being, we actually give ourselves the strength to show up fully in our work, studies, and our relationship. Speaking personally, I've realized that psychological well-being is not about avoiding stress or pretending negative emotions don't exist. It's about actively creating habits and mindsets that make me feel grounded, balanced, and confident. For me, journaling helps me release thoughts that might otherwise stay bottled up. Practicing mindfulness, even for just a few minutes, helps me come back to the present instead of getting lost in worries. Talking to someone I trust when I feel low makes a huge difference because sometimes simply being heard is enough to lighten the burden. Even small things can make a big impact. Taking a walk outside, enjoying music, or sipping a warm cup of tea can all bring me back to a calmer state of mind. So, to wrap up this introduction, psychological well-being is not about avoiding problems or chasing constant happiness. It's about building balance, strength, and resilience so that we can face life's challenges without losing our sense of meaning or hope. It's about how we view ourselves, how we connect with others, and how we continue to find positivity even in imperfect situations. In the next video, we will talk about the key factors that make up psychological well-being. These are like the building blocks of our mental and emotional health. Once we understand them, we can start to recognize which areas in our lives need more attention and we can take steps to nurture those areas. Thank you so much for watching this first episode. If you found it meaningful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe so you don't miss out the next episode. Together, let's learn how to take care of not just our physical health, but also our psychological well-being. Thank you. See you in the next video.